First of all, thank you, all of you, for taking the time and selecting this session. There's plenty of sessions to compete for an audience. So I'm Eric Ayanegui with Cintas Corporation. This is my 10th year presenting in a row, which is not bad. And then I think I'm allowed to say that even though they tell us, no, wait till the end, that this year we're also winning our 4th Uptime Award. So I share that with you so that you know that the person presenting to you today and my colleagues here, we're really passionate about reliability. And we're also very passionate about sharing our best practices and also our lessons learned from our mistakes. And so part of what you're going to learn here today is because of that. So thank you very much. I am January 23rd will be 30 years. I am, the only thing I know is Cintas. After college, I started working for Cintas, been here ever since. My current role is Senior Director of Operations Engineering. So the people that are our ambassadors of our reliability program, they report under me. So that means not only changing equipment, but also visiting the plants, doing the site assessments, asset assessments, and then also coming up with all of our different initiatives that make us a little bit better. This presentation will include a little bit about kind of the inspiration that led to us now knowing how to spell reliability, because there was one time in which we did not. All right, well, with that, let's get this show on the road. Okay, let's go this way. There you go. All right, so well, first of all, before anything, I know you're here to learn about the uptime elements, how can you implement it into your organization. Before any of that starts, and you'll hear it at many presentations, in fact, I was at a presentation earlier this morning, and they keep talking about the AIM. So if you, I just studied for your CRL certification, and you hear Terry O'Halloran speak, he uses the word AIM every 10th word. It's because it is that important. So just by show of hands, who in your organization has an AIM for your reliability program that is documented in a poster? Anything, anybody? Only one. So I'm glad, I guess for impact, you can realize this is really where the secret is. So right now, if you're struggling with a reliability program that is not getting the executive support that you need, it's not getting the understanding of the front line that you need, the people in the middle, and they're not understanding what you want, it's because you haven't told them. So because of that, we're going to spend a little time talking about that. So now, how do you create a vision? Who here, by show of hands again, who here has ever worked on developing a vision or a vision statement for a team? Many of you. Now, so you know that when you set up a vision statement, it has to be what? What's some characteristics of a vision statement? It has to be kind of far-reaching, right? It should be to stretch the team. It should be maybe, the statement is to fix something that is broken. It's to improve something that needs improvement. It needs to be also worded in a way that is inspirational, right? Okay. So guess what? For us, our reliability journey began in 2007. Now, it was not out of inspiration, it was out of desperation. Why? At that time, if you remember, the financial crisis was starting. So for us, we had at that time about 165 plants. That meant, let's look for ways to save money. And at that time, somebody that was part of our organization, he came from the paper industry, said, hey, I have an idea. What about if we start taking care of the assets, and then at least we won't waste money replacing equipment prematurely. And so we're going to introduce you to the term reliability, because up until that point in our company, all we knew was maintenance. And as we know, the term maintenance equates to cost. Maintenance is like boring. Maintenance is it's a negative term. It's kind of like work. Whereas reliability is like, hey, positive. And reliability means maintaining, improving. Reliability means you're progressing. Reliability means excellence. So we set out to create a reliability statement, our vision. And as I'm going to read to you each one of these statements, you'll realize that these were things that we needed to fix. These were things that were not in place. These were things that were new. For example, the fact, by the way, at Cintas, partners means employees. The fact that at that point in our journey, the majority of our employees did not even know the critical need for reliability. Many people, I sat in a presentation this morning and they described this scenario where people come into a large organization to work, they clock in, and they just go there to collect a paycheck. Or maybe they are passionate about their job, but they're not passionate about their machines that help them do their job. So when they break down, it's like, well, not my job. I guess as long as I get paid until the maintenance team fixes the equipment, that's good enough for me. The second statement, every location is effectively staffed. Who here has a very detailed staffing plan, like based on number of work hours required for your PMs? That's how much staff you have. Who has something sophisticated like that? Well, we don't now. We have something a little bit, but back then for sure we didn't. By the way, in the question I just asked, only one hand went up. So another thing that we did is we said, okay, well, fine. Right now we have maintenance staffing by an opinion, by a feeling. What if we have just a minimum standard? How about one tech per shift? How about one supervisor, maintenance supervisor per plant? Because at that point in 2007, we also had many plants without a maintenance supervisor. I remember having a conversation with one of our vice presidents. And when I was telling him, listen, you have 12 plants at the time, and you do not have maintenance supervisors. We should have maintenance supervisors. He goes, I just don't believe in the position. I think I need to understand what the position is about. It's maintenance supervisor. I mean, there's not more to understand, but hey, that's where we were at the time. At the time, 2007, we still had to sell people individually on effectively staffing. And by the way, why did we choose the word effectively staffed? Because even though we may have, by the way, at that time, 165 plants, many were the same. Same size, same type of equipment, same pieces of equipment, maybe same shifts, but they were in different state of disrepair. So maybe some plants needed a couple of extra people, or maybe an extra one, and maybe others needed just the bare minimum, the minimum that we set out. We said, hey, let's just learn a little bit more about our plants and effectively staff them. Okay. And then why do we want to effectively staff them? To achieve reliability compliance. I mean, and by the way, I want you to start keeping track of these words that don't sound very inspiring. They're almost like, they sound more like a stick type of word than a carrot. Critical need on the first one, and this on the second one, the word compliance. That sounds pretty like, hey, you have to do it. All right, third statement. By the way, we're writing them up to fix things that were broken at the time. Every location eliminates unplanned equipment downtime. Duh. It sounds like it, but I tell you what, at that time, we had downtime that was not planned. Equipment would break down in our plants, and then we would have fires, right? Fighting fires. The story of probably many plants that you've probably been involved with. Maybe you came from another organization. You're now in a better organization, or maybe early in your career you were in those type of plants. Well, we were there like that with 165 plants. Not all of them were like that, but we didn't have a strategy. Hey, this fourth one, this is super important. Every location maximizes asset life to increase profits. When we were sitting down with one of our executives at the time, and we were writing this up, he goes, hey guys, I like your draft or your vision, but every time you come here to talk to me, first of all, the staffing is one thing. I'm glad you had staffing. But the other one is, when you go to the site managers to ask them for time to work on equipment, to ask them for more staffing, whatever, it always comes down to an issue of money. Make the connection that reliability is good for profit. So, hey, even if they don't know anything about reliability, with that statement, anybody that reads it will say, hey, if you maximize asset life, you increase your profits. And then you get the hearts of the people that count beans, accountants, CPAs, your controller, your general managers, your vice presidents. Now, this last one, I'll tell you, I laugh because Ray, by the way, one of our partners in the industry, Ray, raise your hand. Yes, so he's from Allied Reliability, Psychic Reliability, Reliability Web, too many reliability companies. Yeah, they've been partners of ours in staffing for about 10 years. Hey, when we wrote that, the reason why we wrote that statement is one of our vendors, not them though, that worked with other companies in our same industry, told one of our executives, you guys are like the largest, but you guys don't really take care of your equipment. The little independent companies that are not as big as you, they take care of their equipment. You guys only take care of the equipment a la carte. Only when if the equipment maintenance does not interfere with production, or if it is not expensive, or whatever. So we said, well, that's not good. I mean, how can we are number one in customer experience, sales, profit. But when it comes to reliability, we weren't. So we set a big, audacious goal to be recognized as an industry leader in reliability, but not this industry, our industry, just the industrial laundry industry, which is washers and dryers, probably equipment that is, hey Josh, how are you doing? A lot less sophisticated equipment than what you run at your facilities. With us, it's not the sophistication, it's the amount. We have at that time, 165 plants, and it's thousands of pieces of equipment, 165 management teams to convince, 165 maintenance teams to convince to follow your process. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back to the logo later. But just again, if you don't take nothing from this presentation other than this, is you need to sit down with your team, and then maybe with a couple of levels of executive levels, a couple of them higher, because they're going to help you sell your vision to the executive suite, the owner of the company, the managing director. You guys need to be aligned to what is it that you agree that is broken, that you want to fix when it comes to your reliability program. Well, that's what we did. So, so let me tell you what, now I'll give you a little rundown as to why we set out each one of these statements. The blocks are in red because those were blaring at us. Especially, once we got a little bit educated on what reliability meant, we started realizing all the things we didn't have in place. I mean, just think about, and let me go back one, I think I went too fast. First of all, our executives, I mean, bless their hearts, they're awesome. They built the company the size that it did at the time, 2007. But reliability was not really one of our strongest suits. I mean, we had maintenance and we would replace equipment if it was broken. We had the funds, but there was not really a strategy. So, okay, that's fine. So that's one that we needed. We did not have reliability training and development. We would hire technicians, and then we would hope that they would bring in with them some great maintenance experience. If we ever got anybody from the Navy, whew, awesome. Anybody from like a submarine or anybody from the Army that was like a maintenance mechanic, or anybody that came from like a food industry where they had higher standards. I mean, that was awesome because then they would kind of set the example. But we didn't have process to even capture their best practices. For everyone, we started realizing what all things we were missing. By the way, we also came to our first, well, it was not a conference, it was like an event led by Terry O'Halloran in 2007 to meet people like yourselves. And we started asking questions. Hey, what do you do to train your techs? Oh, how about the Ramsey test? That's how we test them and we place them and da-da-da. Okay, we've never heard of that. Hey, how do you evaluate your assets? Well, we do checklists. Oh, we use one for safety. Maybe we can adopt the same here. And we started benchmarking with people like yourselves. And then we started realizing how much stuff we didn't have. We didn't have a tech development plan at the time. How about no CMMS? 2007, publicly traded company, 165 plants, no CMMS. We had really great Excel spreadsheets in some sites. In others, we had great calendars, the ones that you buy in paper. And this is Mike. And hopefully you didn't have a coffee stain where you can read it was Mike or whatever. But yeah, that's how we ran maintenance at the time. Now, we made it happen. We had really committed partners, which is great, right? The company financially was doing well. So it's not like Cintas as layoffs. So people are committed to the company they're working for, but we did not have any processes. And no standardized PMs. Same lines of equipment, same families of equipment, no standardized PMs. It was really, it's amazing how we were that good, lacking so many strategies that are like common sense now. Mostly preventive maintenance, some reactive and mostly preventive. There was really no predictive. And like I said, maintenance was seen as a cost, not as an investment. It was tough for us to get our maintenance projects done because, again, we didn't even know how to explain to them or how to sell them as a great return on investment. So, and that one I already mentioned to you. First of all, maintenance a la carte and no KPIs. Who here does not have KPIs for maintenance that you benchmark across others? I'll submit to you that none of you raised your hands. All of you had KPIs. We didn't have KPIs back then. 165 plants. By the way, we did have two. Maintenance cost and maintenance labor. That shall not run high labor, that shall not run high labor maintenance cost. Those were the two that we were looking at. Maybe utility cost, and those were the three, which had nothing to do with maintenance activity. Well, maybe maintenance cost a little bit, but it was not reflective of any strategies at the time. Okay, so we got on. Once we found out, we came to 2007 on an event like this one, smaller, but like this one. We started realizing, okay, the things we needed to do, and we got busy doing all these things. So definitely reliability training for our staff, which included certifications. At that time, the CRL was not in place, but we got the CPMM, which I don't think is available anymore, the Certified Plant Maintenance Manager. So we made sure that our corporate engineers got trained on that. We developed a maintenance assessment tool. We started using the Ramsey test. And very important, we created a marketing campaign for reliability. Now, I know if you're based in the US or Canada, you know who we are. Our company does a great job in marketing. We went to our marketing team and said, hey, we want to develop a logo for reliability. This is what it means. This is what we want to do. Help us capture that in a logo. And we created also a tagline to explain the logo. And then we started sharing this with everybody. First of all, that reliability vision became a poster that we sent to a printer, and every site was required to post one near the maintenance shop and one in their conference rooms, right next to the safety vision. So that they knew that, hey, first of all, they kind of looked alike, and also we were as serious as safety. And then the logo can do the same. Our safety team had a safety logo. We created a reliability logo. And I tell you, this is kind of like when you work with our technicians, hey, they go ahead and have patches made of our logo and they attach them to their shirts. They have the craziest thing I've ever seen is somebody took our logo and then I guess the Snap-on tool guy, whatever, they can put any logo on your maintenance stool and it's the maintenance tool that. Other crazy things we've seen is having that in a film and in the lunchroom, in the Coke machine, they have the logo, on the reliability logo on that. And I could keep going on and on and on as to how much that has bonded our maintenance teams. This is kind of like, I'm a Steelers fan here. If I see you with a Steelers, or I'm at the University of Houston alum, hey, go Cougs, kind of the same thing. So if you have not created a reliability logo, I don't know, we didn't know it was going to have this type of impact, but it's been amazing. In fact, we have stickers, any type of merchandise. Sometimes we can't, in fact, we don't really control it. I mean, the PDF is out there, the digital image is out there, and our own teams, they do with it whatever they want. Some of them have like fan mats or fan stickers, I think they're called, the huge ones in their maintenance shop, the doors of the maintenance shop, yeah. So that has been an incredible hit. So other things that we did was the minimum staffing levels that I said. We finally said you're going to have a supervisor, at least one tech per shift, etc. We standardized the PM, so we grabbed subject matter experts by line. So let's say if we had a line of dryers, we took guys that had like 15, 20 years of experience with them. Hey, listen, here's the PM from the manufacturer. Read it. Tell us really what you do, because it's probably different than that. And then let's go to the manufacturer, and if they agree with your changes, that becomes our standard PM, and also that we put that into the CMMS, our newly created CMMS, which it took about 2 years to fully integrate. And then next thing you know, we had 165 plants stood up in our CMMS. Definitely we learn about predictive tools by coming to conference like this one and meeting with some of the booth vendors and finding out what their tools did and so forth. The first predictive tool that we bought was the infrared camera. Who here does not have infrared cameras deployed? Everybody has them? Okay, you don't? So the cameras back then were $7,000. Now they're like $3,000, $2,000. They're the fastest return on investment for a predictive tool. It could be used in like 20 different things. Look into that. There's plenty of vendors in the exhibit booths, probably beginning tomorrow. And that will be super impactful, especially your team will feel that you're investing in them and you give them technology of today. Hey, this is an important one. So remember, this is under every location maximizes exit life or increase profits. So now I'm taking you now to about 2011, 2012. So this reliability vision is fully implemented. We are rolling. We're making an impact. Our equipment's lasting longer. So we're a publicly traded company. And the way that publicly traded companies can tell if your reliability program is working is, so there's an inventory dollar amount of your equipment. your assets. There's a dollar amount that you carry, that's how you pay your taxes. Well, normally as you grow, well, you invest in more equipment. Well, if you grow but your equipment doesn't run well, you grow and you buy more equipment because it runs about 50% of the time. But if you grow and your equipment is running at an up level, like, uptimes of 90%, you'll be able to grow, but then you'll buy more equipment. So the return on net assets goes up. Well, when our chief financial officer says, hey, you guys having an engineering meeting, I hear, and this is in Cincinnati, Ohio, where headquarters was at, I'd like to present. I have a message for your team. And so by 2011, they had noticed that our return on assets had increased. Keep in mind, publicly traded company, stock price goes up. That's a good thing. So at that time, we had increased it like by 30%. If you were to check it today, we have more than doubled it. Let me tell you, just a couple of stories. So first of all, we no longer have 165 plants. We have 208. We have about 1,000 people that work in maintenance across the US and Canada for us. And periodically, we acquire companies. That's how we grow. And so we have dialed in some of our processes so well. First of all, our executives trust that, first of all, our equipment runs. Our equipment's maintained. People have a passion for it. I think we are a really good company to work for. You're in maintenance because, hey, we have people that are really passionate about developing techs and so forth. When we acquire companies, we send a team of engineers to evaluate the company we're about to acquire. And we could actually report back with a score. It says, yeah, that plant's at a 65. We'll have it at an 80 within 6 months. We'll know exactly what we need to replace and what process we need to implement. So now our executive suite also trusts not only the impact that we're doing, but all of our processes to where they use them when we evaluate acquisitions, which is pretty awesome. Now, this part is pretty amazing. So again, when we set out to be an industry leader, we set out to be an industry leader in our industry, not in all industries, et cetera. We were just humble to say, as long as a vendor say, hey, you guys are better than your competition. But guess what? We started coming to these conferences to get inspiration. We would sit in the big auditorium on the day of the Uptime Awards. We're like, wow, best reliability program. Whew, that's wow. They have some in best leadership for reliability. Wow, that'd be so awesome if one day. Or hey, they have some in best condition predictive program and best competency-based learning programs and so forth. And we just took inspiration from that. And yeah. I mean, I share this image with you with some emotion because this has taken us, by the way, by years. So we started in 2007. The first Uptime Award that we received, the one on the left, was 2017. It took 10 years of us building the confidence to even submit for that. But the most important part is that when you read the category, that category, by the way, does not exist. They created it. They were, Terry and the rest of the conference organizers were so inspired by a maintenance certification that we created for our technicians. By the way, we've given that presentation before at this conference, just not this year. That they said, hey, first of all, we're going to do a special recognition award because of that contribution. By the way, Mark Hall, raise your hand. He is our director of safety for, Mark Hall, he's director of safety. Then Mark Bolin is our vice president of engineering. So they know how much we care about this certification. First of all, it is an international best practice as recognized by OSHA and in other safety forums, but also here. So that was our first one, and it had to do with, you can imagine, you win an award of magnitude in the conferences of this size, of this prestige. We brought that trophy to our CEO. I mean, to imagine, the CEO, by the way, is the grandson of the founders of the company. And here's an international award, not for itself in uniforms or mats. This is for what we do in safety for our technicians. So that was pretty inspiring. Then that was 2017. Then 2019, we shared our story of what we've done with everything I've been telling you this last 30 minutes. Our story of how we took a company with no reliability knowledge and shared with our executives, with the middle management and front lines about all the what would be possible if we implemented reliability strategies. And so we won an award for best leadership for reliability. And then in 2021, because by then there's many other things that we've implemented, we detailed our story of all the different programs we have now in place. And we were recognized with best reliability program in 2021. Tomorrow you'll find out which one we won this year, but that will be our fourth one. But let me tell you, it was so awesome because when we won the 2019 award of Best Reliability Program, so that was December of 19. I remember that vividly because we met with our CEO and then COVID hit. So we sat with our CEO and a couple other executives to present that trophy. And then he says, well, that's awesome. First of all, so proud. And we gave him a little montage of this conference with pictures of the show, of the actual video of us receiving the award. And he challenged us, says, you know what? Well, I guess since we've already cleared all of this, because clearly by that time, now it's 2019, 12 years after we started our reliability journey, we had everybody understanding of reliability by then. Absolutely no question. The staffing, not an issue. In fact, staffing is probably one of our strongest suits there. There's no really major equipment downtime. It's rare. I mean, when equipment is down for over 4 hours, Mark is the vice president, I'm a senior director, we get a phone call because it's that rare. We're like, hey, I have a thing they've been down for 4 hours. It's so rare they actually let us know, and I know about each one. The profits, again, the return on net assets, we are leader for our industry code. We are the leader in that. And then, we've been recognized in a forum like this one for that. So it's like, hey, he challenged us. So like, why don't we come up with a new one? And by the way, back then he was the CEO. He's now the chairman of the board. With his assistance, we drafted the new one. So not only do we have a reliability vision, at Cintas Corporation, the current reliability vision that will likely take us over the next 20 years was co-drafted, co-wordsmithed, and I'm literally with email exchange with the chairman of the board of a publicly traded company that has, what we are known for is uniforms, first aid solutions, not reliability. So pretty cool because then now look at and I have a comparison of the two for you to see how much we've evolved from, and by the way, you're like, Eric, what time are you going to get to the uptime elements? So that's how much we've evolved. We went from words like critical need to pursuing reliability excellence. We went from words like reliability compliance to, hey, that's not even included in there. Because reliability is the only way we'd know how to do it. We don't need to convince anybody. Hey, how about that middle one? I remember the conversation we had with him, because we had him maybe in different order. He goes, no. Put the training in the middle, in the heart of it, so that anybody that reads it, that especially if it's a technician or somebody we're interviewing to be a tech with us, knows that they are at the heart of our reliability vision. And that tells them that in this corporation, we're going to invest in their development. I mean, what a stronger statement. And then I remember he took that because we had printed one of these posters of the old one. And I remember he went and with the marker, he crossed industry and wrote the word global. And that became our new term. So it's so awesome that to have the executive support to then do what we do. And that brings us to this. So to stand up, because of everything that we do, so we need to certify some people, right? We have people that are certified reliability leaders, no question. Therefore, we introduce the uptime elements to all of our engineering leaders. All of our corporate engineers are CRLs, and if they're not, they have it in their development plan. We have a couple of people certified with infrared thermography and so forth, and some on lubrication. But then our goal for the uptime elements, so just by show of hands here. So we identified, we have 1,000 technicians. We have the plant managers, their production supervisors, and we identified in our company 2,500 people that will benefit from learning about the uptime elements. We are 47,000 employees, and we identified 2,500 people. Just by show of hands, anybody that has identified, you would think that you would actually introduce the uptime elements to 500 in your company. That you can think of 500 people that could, how about 1,000? Give me 1,500, 750. So So this is our audacious goal. So we said, you know what? There's 1,000 technicians. They absolutely need to know about it. But not all of them are going to sit through a very long class. And plant managers do need to know every detail of it. And so do the maintenance supervisors, and so do every single one of the members of the engineering team that are the ambassadors of our reliability program. So what did we do? So first of all, we have made it mandatory for the body of knowledge to be a resource library at every one of our sites. We have 208 sites plus our distribution centers. Who has here 50 sites? Okay? So they all have technicians and all. So that's an easy one. This is $275. Just by you just telling them, hey, on your next set of purchases, go to Amazon, buy it. And then once you get it, let me know. And then you get your 50 sites, open the box together on a Teams call. And then there's going to be some posters there. Hey, by next week, put your posters up in your shop, send me a picture of that. And that's just a soft introduction. That's just really soft, because then what really gets, then you talk about it at meetings. Maybe there's different places depending on who you train and on what at your organization. Well, this is what we've done. First of all, again, the CRL certification. Who here, who here is a CRL certified? Okay, so about 40% of the room. So a few of you, if you're in this conference, you definitely want to find out about the certification. What it has done for me is, first of all, you have the certification expires every 3 years. You need to be doing something to stay up and, updated with the latest reliability trends and industry trends. So it forces you to do that. But then also you kind of lead by example, because there's a commitment to study the books, etc. Also, they do have some workshops that if you study the books a little bit and feel a little bit easy about taking a test, you could then take their workshop, which is, 4 days, and then you take the exam on the last day. But then what we've done, by the way, is if somebody gets certified, let's celebrate their milestones. We send emails, and Mark receives these emails. Somebody in our organization becomes CRL certified, and a lot of people get to know about it. And even people that may not even know what it is. Like some business executive here, all of a sudden realizes that the engineer that supports them became certified on something. And that something is spelled in the email, in case they don't know. Now, another thing we've done is we ourselves became certified to teach the courses. So what we've done is we do a 1 hour introduction. We kind of go through it kind of quickly. It's just an introduction. The PowerPoint, we've actually gotten permission from our Ontario to update the slides to make them Cintas-sized so that we can talk about the things that affect us and our equipment. But then when we go on the in-depth one, that's at 4 hours. By the way, the introductory one is 1 hour and 15, and the in-depth one is exactly 4 hours. And in that 4-hour course, what we do is we also have videos. We actually link to, maybe if you're a vendor here, we may link to a video of your technology. And another thing that we do is we're pretty honest, by the way, as we go through the elements, we tell the people in our company, hey, on this one we're really strong. On this one we're a little weak. On this one we have no activity, but it's coming. So at least then also we're creating a little bit of suction, because some people might say, you know what, when I was in the Navy, I already know about that. So when you're ready to start a pilot on this, I am familiarized with it. Or others are like, man, where are we going to start? I want to be good at everything. So it starts a little bit of a appetite on behalf of the people that take our courses. And by the way, this courses is not like, hey, would you like to attend? No, it's mandatory. So we worked with our corporate training and development department. And then, I'm sure, like, for example, right before I came to this session, I was in my room completing a training and development course that I have to take because it was assigned to me by my title, right? So I'm sure in your company you do the same. Based on your title, they assign you some courses. But we work with them and say, anybody that has these titles, and we give them the titles, they have to take this course at least once. And so, and then we send reminders. And then the couple of us that were certified to teach these courses, we work with them. We actually populate the calendar, and then our partners can easily just sign in. The 1 hour class, since it is entry level, we allow more people to sign up, so we can have about 250 people. But in the 4 hour one, we want a little more of an exchange, ask questions and have a little bit more interaction. So that one we cap it at 25. We have trained 1,700 people so far. I think that's why they took our presentation when we submitted it. Because as I have asked other people, even though you're large organizations, how many people have you introduced? I'm not saying certified, but introduced the uptime elements. I don't know, we haven't heard numbers like that. We are that passionate, and we're on a mission to complete our 2,500. Now, our goal initially was to complete the 2,500 people we identified by May 31st, which is the end of our fiscal year. But also we have turnover, right? There's new techs, there's new plant managers, new supervisors. So what we'll have is just courses every year for the new people. So we figure with about 1,000 people, out of the 2,500 people with a turnover of about 12%, we'll always have about 300 people somewhere there to train. And that's our plan. But yeah, so with our passion for this, 1,700 people in the last 18 months. So I believe that's all I had for you. So first of all, again, thank you so much for your time. I know that there are many other sessions for you to attend. Thank you for picking this one. When I attend sessions, again, this is my 10th year attending the large conference, I always see that people are missing this vision thing. And you may want to implement other things, but if you don't have the vision for us has been the game changer. It has been the key that others don't have. And we had it by luck because we stole it from our safety team. And that has actually opened up the doors for us to be able to do other things, including this big audacious goal of convincing a large corporation to say, we want the attention of certain people for 1 hour and some people for 4 hours. And it's a total of 2,500 people. And they said, no problem. Back to you. Questions? Comments? Yeah, there's a comment right there. Oh, thank you.
Hi, thank you. I have a question. So when you were mentioning about the getting the individual trained so that they can do the uptime training internally,
yes.
What did that process look like and how long did it take? So if I want to go back to my organization and pitch, hey, we want to do this too, I'm sure a question is going to be, well, how long does it take and what additional considerations?
Yeah, great question. They're pretty, they control who is allowed to teach the course. And I understand why. They just don't want somebody grabbing a PowerPoint because they will give you their PowerPoint. They don't just want somebody teaching the PowerPoint that wouldn't know how to explain some things. Because once you get into, let's say, for example, if you're an organization that doesn't do anything about version analysis and you're like completely green on that, no pun intended, that you, and they don't want you to give wrong information or incomplete information. So what they will do is if you decide to start teaching this, they're actually going to have you sit through their session because they teach sessions on their own. And then they also want to then quiz you. I mean, literally, Terry, Mora, David Wright, and a couple other people will actually shoot questions at you to kind of see where your weak areas are. And if you're severely weak on an area, they're going to ask you to kind of read up on that through the Uptime Elements booklets. And then when you're strong, they're going to quiz you again on the topics that you were light. And then after that, then you're allowed to teach it. Now, if you're a member of the Reliability Leadership Institute, meaning not you individually, but your corporation, then that is also one of your benefits. You get to have the trainers. But I think as they develop the uptime elements and they become more popular, I'm sure they'll have to have other ways of you becoming certified. But that's what it was for us. And then we also have a limited, we are licensed to have up to 5 trainers. We had 4, but 1 retired. So we're down to 3 and we're going to add another one of our other directors or managers. Great question. Somebody else had a question here? Oh. Yes, sir. Oh. Yeah, right here.
Folks who are still trying to figure out how to get to that initial slide of building our vision, who do you recommend is like the core constituents to start to drive a project like that internally? Obviously, the reliability team is fired up about it, but who are those other executive stakeholders that they should try to get involved?
Yeah, great question. In fact, my presentation on Wednesday talks about the executive, you guys are the ambassadors of your reliability program. So you decide who gets to be trained on what. Well, don't start at you and below. It starts at the highest level of the company and below, or sideways, whichever way you want to describe it. So for us, we knew that, excellent question, Nick. So when we started our reliability journey, we did not start by introducing this to technicians. We introduced reliability first to executives to say, hey, there's something called reliability that's better than maintenance. And so once they agreed that, that makes sense, and we came up with a reliability vision, it included the executive suites. So don't start this in the middle because, in fact, I was in a presentation earlier this morning. They talked exactly about this. Let's say if you're in a company that is not doing well financially, typically reliability and maintenance means more cost. So if they're thinking about cost saving and you're thinking about more training, more tools, well, those don't connect. You may be at a different point in your journey. So that means that is why you want to include your executives and then maybe even the controller as well, where you explain to them, first of all, the benefits of having a reliability program. Hey, we're going to take care of assets that will last longer. First of all, they will be safer. They will last a much longer time, and then they'll produce a better quality product for your customers. Your plants will run a little smoother. So, hey, what are your pain points, Mr. Controller? What are your pain points, HR? What are your pain points, safety? And then collectively, you can probably agree on some points that then will fix and I started with this, fix what is broken. And so that's how we came up with ours. Now for us, since we already had momentum, when we came up with the second one, we're the chairman of the board. And he had pretty much had a pretty good pulse of the state of the company, and he had seen the benefits of what we had rolled out. So when we introduced the second one, and it was so easy to introduce a improved, revamped, and with the times, and also it's timeless, kindly. When I explain the new reliability vision to anybody, I say, look at the terms reliability excellence. That's timeless. The reliability excellence of today will be different 5 years from now and 10 years from now. Look at develop highly skilled maintenance teams. The technical training of today will be different 10 years from now. We're just now getting into AI. By the way, we have representatives from a company that has an AI solution. But yeah, 5 years ago, that was not even a thing. And then being a global leader in reliability is now no more about being recognized, it's by staying the same, which is, quite frankly, the toughest. Because that means you have to invest and continue to lead the way. And lead the way does not mean be the best. It means be open. It means sharing your best practices with others, be humble enough to learn from others, and then adapt what others have taught you and then implement in your company, and then come back here again and share your best practices. Thank you, Nick. Anybody else? All right. We're right on time. Thank you very much.